early ejaculation. That's what I like to call it. Most people call it premature ejaculation, but I feel like that's kind of judgmental, don't you? I mean, the average woman, if you're talking about heterosexual sex, the average woman takes about 20 minutes to reach orgasm. The average guy, 7 to 7.5 minutes. So already there's a big orgasm gap there, okay? But what most experts consider early ejaculation is anything quicker than 7.5 minutes. So what do you do about it, okay? Well, regardless of who you're being intimate with, the key always is foreplay. Lots and lots of foreplay. And if you're worried about reaching orgasm too quickly, build up the foreplay. Let your partner reach orgasm first before you even get started, if possible. Or get them really close so that you'll kind of close that orgasm gap. And that's true for everyone, I think, when you're talking about men and women in particular, but it's particularly true if you tend to reach orgasm really quickly as a guy. And if you're having sex with a woman, most women don't reach orgasm through intercourse anyway. Only 30% of women do. The majority, it's because they're getting some sort of clitoral stimulation. So if you play up the foreplay and make sure she has hers first through oral or manual stimulation, there's much less pressure on you to wait before you finish, okay? But let's talk about how to prolong the time that it takes you to reach orgasm. There are a lot of ways, but as a sex therapist who's been working with guys for 25 years, I can tell you that there are two main causes that I find to be the most prevalent. One is anxiety, okay? Because early ejaculation and also erectile dysfunction, but we'll get to that later. Early ejaculation often happens because you're really excited or you're with someone you're really into or for whatever reason. And then you feel embarrassed and anxious, and then the next time you go to have sex, oh my gosh, I hope I'm gonna last. And then it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that feeds on itself like a panic attack. The first time you have a panic attack, you just have a panic attack. And then every time you have a panic attack after that, it's because you're panicking that you're gonna have a panic attack. It's the same kind of thing. So doing what we can to alleviate anxiety really helps. Early ejaculation can happen for a number of reasons, but the most prevalent is because you're really excited and you're really into that person, or you haven't had sex for a really long time. And now all of a sudden you're there and the arousal is so great you can't contain yourself. And of course, the anxiety that I talked about earlier. So what do you do about it? Well, you take the pressure off by doing lots of foreplay. You take some deep breaths and you learn ways to calm your system down before you have sex. You even can do the something about Mary maneuver. Remember that scene where he self-stimulated before he went out on his date, just so he could get that kind of out of his system, because the second time around, often you'll last a little bit longer than you did the first. I mean, you're not gonna do, most guys, unless you're 18, can't reach orgasm one after another, you know, very quickly. But if there's gonna be several hours till you next have sex or have sex with a person, self-stimulate beforehand, and that will help you slow down later. But also, if early ejaculation is really chronic for you, you need to retrain your brain and body. So let's talk about how to do that. There are two main ways. One is the stop-start technique, okay? Now, stop-start is exactly what you say. Now, all of these you have to practice through self-stimulation alone first until you master them, and then you can try them with a partner, okay? So here's how you look at it. An orgasm, when it's that point of no return, you're gonna ejaculate no matter what, consider that a 10. And 0 is no arousal at all. So you wanna self-stimulate until you get to like a 7. And then either slow way down or even stop if you need to, until you pull back to like a 5 or a 4. Then self-stimulate yourself back up to a 7, back down to a 4 when you stop, back up to a 7. And you start to train yourself to slow down in the moment or even stop in the moment, get some control, tighten your Kegels, and if you haven't already, watch my video about strengthening your Kegels, and that will slow down the arousal. Okay, so you do that over several weeks, a couple of times a week, until you really feel confidence and control. The other technique to try on your own is the squeeze technique, okay? So at the tip of the penis, right below that little V on the underside, which is called the frenulum, is where you would pinch. So you would put your hands on either side of the penis, right under the head, and do the same thing. You would get to the point of a 7, squeeze your Kegels, take some deep breaths, get yourself back down to a 4. Then self-stimulate, back up to a 7, back down to a 4, like that, training yourself. There are all sorts of products that are out there that people will say will make you last longer. And some doctors will even say if you take Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra, that will help. And it can help in the sense that if you reach ejaculation too quickly, you'll be able to get an erection really quickly again, most likely, and then you can keep going. But it's not going to necessarily slow down your arousal process. There is one product that I really like called Promescent, and you can find it online, on Amazon, wherever. It's a Promescent, Promescent, which is a topical. But what's great about it is that it goes beneath the surface of the skin. So the guy puts it on his penis before sex. It goes beneath the surface of the skin to the nerve receptors and slows down the arousal process. And what I like about that is that it doesn't make him numb, and it doesn't make the partner numb, which a lot of those topical products do, so be careful with those. Most of all, practice. And over time, with calming down anxiety, gaining confidence in your technique, and practicing either the stop-start or the squeeze, lots of foreplay, you're going to be lasting as long as you want. So enjoy. And if you like this video, make sure to like it, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next week on Thursday for a brand new video.